Hello, welcome back to Nyambung, the channel that will make you click and connect on international relations and public policy matters. With me, Dina Praptoraharja, and my co-host, Nadila Amani.
Yeah, I agree. The situation has been really frustrating, right, Budina? It seems like really frustrating. And it seems like the consensus is not really impacting the junta, right, Budina? What do you think what will happen? Like, can ASEAN do something else about this? Can ASEAN meddle in this coup?
I think the suitable way of saying it is not meddling in. It's already at the stage where ASEAN need to be in charge. The reality is, as we have discussed earlier, inside of Myanmar, there are too many fragments of power and desire. Not all of them are uniting behind the NUG, but there is a strong determination that people no longer want to be under military junta, that what the military junta doing is unacceptable. That's clear, right? And if there's no clear representation of leadership inside of Myanmar, the only one that should take the chance, take the opportunity, take the momentum to be there for the people is ASEAN, in my view. It's a collectivity after all. It's not an intervention in the sense of one country trying to take over other countries, right? It's a genuine expression of desire to help the people, create certain certain situation of stability that would allow people to talk with each other and bring solution. And this, even NUG is not capable of doing at this point. So something needs to be there to take that role. But none of the bureaucrats inside of ASEAN is willing to do so. I have my own regret, to what Indonesia has been doing so far. I think Indonesia can be more strong and present at this point, instead of being just procedural and always wait for the chair to get into his senses. Into their senses. It takes a long time, between April until June, and
6 weeks.
Yeah, 8 weeks, and
no progress for 6 weeks.
Yes, and what you hear is just, we tried, we call, we pressure, we question Brunei. Don't you know that Brunei will never make any swift decisions? That because the consensus was only attended by 6 leaders, this 6th leader needs to be the one who makes swift decision for Myanmar, regardless of what the rest is saying, regardless of who didn't attend the meeting. They should not slow down the decisions made by ASEAN. Just the fact that they didn't attend means that they are not interested to make ASEAN matter in this instance. When would they realize it? When would they realize that let's not wait for these countries who did not attend the ASEAN leaders meeting define how ASEAN make decisions for Myanmar? How can can they be more confident that what they're doing is right and is needed by Myanmar? That's the part that I still have to get my senses around. I really think that ASEAN foreign ministers could be more in charge. The 6 ones who was backed by the prime ministers and presidents, they should have more confidence and make decisions. It's an unusual situation. It's a very foolish thing to say for ASEAN to matter. They have to get consensus from 10. this is unusual situation. How can you wait for 10?
Yeah. Yeah, oh my God, I agree. We feel what the civilians of Myanmar when they said they won't wait for ASEAN and UN, right, Budina? It's because it's even frustrating for us.
That thing about UN. You hear as well the news that inside of the UN Security Council there was actually a move to embargo weapons for Myanmar, so that the Tatmadaw is not going to be able to use any weapons coming to Myanmar for violence against civilians. What's interesting is that, well, not interesting in a good sense this time, ASEAN member states cannot get their heads around it, and instead of these countries who agree to embargo the weapons, making decisions apart from their fellow ASEAN countries, they wait for the countries who disagree to embargo the weapons. And if you can trace for yourself, I encourage the listeners here to find for themselves which country from ASEAN decided not to support the embargo, and that slow down the decisions inside of the UN, because some of the countries who actually agree for the embargo decided to let this sound bothers the UN. They could have just say ignore them. They didn't, they didn't matter. They must have miscalculation or something about the situation, and go on. So I start seeing that ASEAN is really one of the problems now. If nothing happened to change the situation inside of ASEAN, that they still say that they need to be 10 of them to make a decision, I think it's really time to just transform ASEAN completely and replace them with something else.
Yeah, it's really frustrating, Budina. I agree with you.